quickly, though, why is this? You mentioned lots of statistics, lots of money, lots of effort involved here in making sure that the Democrats are in charge of drawing the lines the next time around. Why is that so important?
My perspective is that I am a Democrat and I support having certain people in office passing the kinds of laws I believe in. That's how I got into politics.
What if you were, Blair, what if you were a Republican, would you say?
What would I say to...
What would you say? Why is this so important?
Well, I mean, it's the same...
This year.
Well, this year, if you believe that, I mean, if I was making the Republican argument, by the way, just so you all know I'm a blank, I would be making the argument that divided government keeps one set of eyeballs watching the other team, and that having one-party government is allows people to do things that the public probably wouldn't want. Right? That would be my argument as a Republican, although since I'm not a Republican, maybe the Republican in the room would want to make the argument better than I would.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts. One party control, and I'll tell you, I'll say this, whether if it was all Republicans or all Democrats, I don't care if it was all Republicans, I think we would have problems. We need a differentiation of views and ideas, and we need a good, honest debate. If not, we don't have a debate. One party's in power, whether it's Republican or Democrat. You're not going to get the debate on the issues. People are not going to be represented.
Those are all good answers, but what I was trying to get somebody to say was that if the Republicans are redistricted out of power, they will be for a long, long time to come. This is like this could be the last best effort to have any Republican districts, according to...
Just looking at the numbers at New York State, the way the registration turnouts have been, it has been trending statewide Democratic over the years. If you put, let's say, an Iowa grid over New York State, which party would control overwhelmingly? A question I ask.
Absolutely, but Jared Benjamin.
Well, that's why the Democrats can afford to be generous and have it done neutrally, because they'll likely win anyway. So, and I made this argument at the National Hispanic Legislators meeting a couple of years ago to great contempt. I argued, why not be for fairness since you're going to win under fairness? And in addition, fairness might permit an additional increment of competition, an additional increment of accountability. So if there's no downside, there are downsides for particular individual members, as we heard. There are downsides now under the current practice. But the upside is removing the perception of a legislature already widely held in contempt, notwithstanding the very complicated pros and cons of legislative life. And fairness produces your preferred outcome, and fairness makes you a hero. But instead, the majorities persist in behavior that reinforces the constituency's skepticism about them, their values, their purposes, and their self-interest. It doesn't make sense. They can behave in a fashion that embraces reform and still win.
And I would agree with that, but I would say that one of the reasons the Democrats probably will have the opportunity to redistrict is that predominantly New York State's a Democratic state, and for a long period of time, I guess there's never been a Democrat Senate had the opportunity to do the redistricting. The desires and aspirations of a significant number of New Yorkers have been frustrated because they haven't had, in fact, a seat at that table. And I wouldn't object to a fair plan, a nonpartisan plan. But I would caution against a plan that's not derived from knowledge of the communities and the people who represent those communities. Again, it's very difficult to assemble people who can tell you why the Cotton Club should be in Keith Wright's district instead of Ed Sullivan's district.
Keith can make that argument.
But Keith, therein lies the question. Would Keith get the opportunity to make the argument if you had a group that's, appointed or selected from some process that did not involve the legislature?
Let me just wrap up before we get to the question.
One more. Give me one more. I talked to Mel Miller, I said to Mel Miller, antecedent to the outcome in 1980, why can't we have fairness? And he said, we've been screwed for 80 years. Why should we be fair now? Right? And there's merit in that, as Bill Parment pointed out, without emphasizing it. We had a constitutionally Republican government in the legislature for almost 100 years. Now, since everybody's done screwing each other, why can't we get fairness?
The Senate Democrats would agree with that.
Blair Barter from
we just,
Nyberg.